Hello students, I am Sachin Prakash and I teach and mentor students in chemistry for IIT I believe that the real confidence which is required to crack this IIT exam will come only when you are confident in tackling good problems. And that clarity and understanding of concepts will only develop when you are really comfortable in handling these problems. So this video contains the paper discussion which I have conducted in my uh, classes online. Okay, and a lot of good doubts are there which I have discussed here. It will be helping you people in understanding, developing an understanding in how to approach and tackle good problems. Okay, and if you like this, if you found this paper discussion video to be useful and interesting, you can, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, which will surely, motivate me to add some more useful videos of this type. Okay, because ultimately it's this is just an effort, honest effort, small honest effort from my side to help the student, uh, help my students as well as other students also in their ITJ preparation. So let us begin with this paper discussion. Okay.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss UTA 5. Okay. So this paper will be containing questions which are based on ionic equilibrium, okay, periodic properties and chemical bonding up to hybridization. So this paper consists of three sections. Section 1 is single correct, which will be having, single correct answers. Then you have multi correct, and the final section is your integer type. So this is a relatively short paper with 18 questions. Okay, so let us start the paper discussion. Okay. Okay. So let us start the things from integer type because they are easy. Okay. 32 to 36, any doubts?
Sir, 35.
35, okay, see, except hydroid ion, you can figure out for others, right?
Yes.
Hydroid ion is slightly bigger than bigger than fluoride ion. Okay, that is something which is fact based, which you should know. Okay, because nuclear attraction is very less in hydroid ion. There's only one proton there. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so except for so only N3 minus is bigger than hydride ion in terms of size. Okay, this is the second thing which you need to know. Are you getting my point? So here they're asking how many anions are greater than F minus. So you see, across a period, F minus will be less than N3 minus, O2 minus less than N3 minus, and down the group also, your F minus will be less than Cl minus, and Cl minus is less than S2 minus is less than P3 minus. Are you getting a point? So all the ions which are given are more larger than F minus. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So after this,
Sir, 36 I'm getting 2.4.
36, the answer is exactly 1. Okay, this equation I have given for percentage ionic character, which is the Haney-Smith equation. Do you remember me giving this one?
Yes, sir.
So if you do the calculation, you will get the exact value. They have set the parameters in such a way. So delta x, if you put to be t, then 16t plus 3.5t square is equal to 19.5. You do it, you will get the exact answer.
Sir, can you once explain this question?
Question is that they are giving that in chlorine ClF, okay, delta x will be electronegativity of fluorine and electronegativity of chlorine. Okay, and this is given to be 19.5%. Delta, if you know delta x, then percentage ionic character is given by 16 into delta x plus 3.5 into delta x square.
Sir, so that 16 and 3.5 are fixed?
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
it is something like that. So 36 is done. 32, 33, 34, no doubts.
So 32.
$35 hydride ion will be, bigger in size than fluoride ion. This is a fact which you have to know. Okay, others you can judge by the order, that if you are having isoelectronic species, then more is the negative charge, more will be the size of the ion. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So 32, it is 0.01 molar A minus ion concentration, so it will be a case of anionic hydrolysis. So pH will be 7 plus half pK plus log C. It will be 9. Getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 33, doubt, no doubt. I think this question has come in the previous papers also. Something like that.
Similar.
Is it a doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
Explain, sir.
33. Okay. You see, if you are having NH3, which is basically NH4OH, and you are adding NH4 plus ion from outside, then what you will be getting will be a basic buffer. So POH will be PKB plus log of NH4 plus by NH4OH. Okay, POH is what? 4.78. pH is given to be 9.22. 14 minus 9.22 is 4.78. And PKB is also 4.78. So you can say that the concentration of NH4 plus is equal to concentration of NH4OH, or millimoles of NH4OH will be equal to millimoles of NH4 plus. Now you see, 50 ml of an aqueous solution contains 2 millimoles of, so this will also be 2 millimoles. Now this 2 millimoles is coming from NH4 whole twice SO4. So how many millimoles of this has to be used? 1 millimole. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So integer type is done. Okay, we are moving forward. Next is single current. Okay, so this is the way I will be attempting the paper. So I am discussing it the same way. Now 19th question, is it doubt?
Explain,
The
sir.
19 should be option B, no, sir.
No, it's option C. Let us see how. See, the moles of calcium carbonate is 1.16. Okay. Now you see, this calcium carbonate has to be completely dissolved in whatever water we are, using. So you see, every time you are filling the water and then removing it, it is taking away some amount of calcium 2 plus. Suppose I am collecting all the water which I am using in that kettle in a bigger vessel. And this bigger vessel will contain ultimately 1.16 moles of Ca2 plus. Yes or no?
So,
And let us say that the volume of water will be V. Okay. Then that will give me the sulfur concentration, the concentration of Ca2 plus. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Now, you see, it also has carbonate ion and you see, suppose we are having so much of water that Ksp is just equal to S square. That will be a case when precipitation is about to occur. Yes or no?
Sir, yes, sir. Explain again.
See, I am having 1.16 moles of Ca2 plus and in whatever water we are putting into the kettle. Okay, so all the water which I put into the kettle repeatedly, I kept collecting in another vessel. Okay, and let us say that the volume is V. This volume V is dissolved 1.16 moles of Ca2 plus. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
So that is the solubility of Ca2 plus. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And that is the solubility of CaCO3. Now, Ksp is equal to S squared because precipitation has not taken place. So S squared will be 8.7 into 10 power minus 19. So S will be 9.33 into 10 power minus 5. And this is also the concentration of Ca2 plus. So S is equal to 1.16 by V. So from this you can calculate the volume of V. V will be something like this. Okay. Now you see, the kettle volume is 2 liters. And every time you are taking the water in kettle, you are taking 2 liters of water. So it is asking how many times you have to fill and remove the water from kettle. So total volume will be 12,000 liters. But how many times they are asking that you have to fill? Okay. So the answer will be volume by 2. Are you getting my point?
Sir, again, it's my last step.
See, it is asking how many times you have to fill and refill the 2-liter kettle. Now you want this much volume. So how many times 2-liter kettle has to be filled? This by 2?
Yes, sir.
That's why you are getting 6,000. That's also.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So 19 is done 20.
Explain, sir.
See, H2S will be giving sulfide ion plus 2H plus. Now if medium is acidic, then due to high H plus concentration, the sulfide ion concentration will decrease. So only low Ksp sulfides will be precipitated. Are you getting the point?
Could you explain question briefly?
Huh?
Once could you explain question briefly?
See, you are having a vessel in which you are having these two ions in these two concentrations. Now you added some HCl and then H2 and passed H2S and you got a precipitate of copper sulfide. Okay, then you remove all the precipitate and then you made the medium basic by adding NH4OH. Are you getting my point? And then again you passed H2S through it. And this time you get a precipitate of MnS. So which of the statements should be colored? Okay. Now you see, the precipitation will depend on the concentration of sulfide ion. Okay. Now in acidic medium, the sulfide ion concentration will be very low. So only the lower Ksp sulfide will be precipitated, which is Cu2+. Okay, this you have to know. So, and in basic medium, when the sulfide ion concentration is high, then higher KSP sulfide will be precipitated. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, CUS is having lower KSP, MNS requires more concentration because it is having higher KSP. CUS is more soluble is incorrect. So answer will be B only. Now you see the option D is incorrect because suppose we are directly passing H2S in basic medium, then you will have high concentration of sulfide ion. If copper 2 plus and Mn2 plus both are there, both will be precipitated. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
So you can't separate them. But if you first precipitate out all the copper 2 plus ion, okay, then you can get MNS separately. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 20 is done. 21, 22, 23.
Sir,
Hmm.
like Z effective will be more for d orbitals, no, sir.
See, if the electrons are going into d orbitals, then Z effective will be increasing for the valence electron. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
So the valence, suppose you are talking about zinc, okay. Then in case of zinc, the valence electron is 4s2 only, no? But first electrons are going into d orbitals. Okay. So poor shielding will be decreasing the size of zinc compared to potassium. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you see, when you're talking about same atom, okay, then as you are getting nearer to the, see, shielding is always due to the inner electrons. So if you're talking about the outermost electron, it will get more shielding. If you're talking about this one, this will get less shielding. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
The inner electrons will always have less shielding compared to outer electrons. So, if
Okay,
there is
sir.
less shielding, it will be maximum effective nuclear charge.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can
Okay?
you explain 22nd?
Yeah, obviously. 23rd is a doubt.
No, sir.
23, actually the answer should be SP3, which they have given. But you see, going by the logic which we were discussing today, it can be SP2 D2 plus PD also.
Yes, sir. IF7.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
0 S character means?
See, we consider sp3d to be a non-uniform hybridization. So we are considering it to be a mixture of sp2 and PD. Okay. PD is not an independent hybridization. So there are two different bond angles. That's why we are having two different, we are bifurcating it to two different hybridizations. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
The same thing I can do with sp3d3 also, no?
So
Because
we
they-
separate it like that because they're along different axes.
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, we can do that, but they have not considered it. So I will raise an objection here that they should consider this also. Let us see whether they take it or not. Okay, see, this one is given in the books. That is why they have given C as the answer. But I believe that by that logic, even D should be correct. Okay.
Zero S orbital character means.
In D orbital, so in PD, so S orbital character is 0 only now. There is S orbital character in this orbital. Or this. In this, it is 0 only. Getting a point?
Yes.
Along axial bonds, there is no S character. It is only in the equatorial plane.
Sir, so we're considering PD as one hybrid orbital, one separate hybrid orbital, right?
Yes. Actually, PD will be consisting of two orbitals. Because number of atomic orbitals is equal to number of hybrid
Okay,
orbitals.
sir. Yeah,
Sir,
okay, sir.
all sp3d and sp3d2 will come under 0 s orbital character.
No. In sp3d, one part is having 0s character, which is PD.
Like totally any.
Totally, it cannot have 0 character, no. But you see, it is non-uniform hybridization. Are you getting a point? So you can visualize it as a combination of two uniform hybridization. Are you getting a point?
For any hybridization, it is not possible to have 0 s orbital characters.
No.
Okay.
All orbitals which we have seen there now are necessarily having s orbital as well. Overall, orbitals have to have an s character because s is a important component of all the hybridization. Getting my point? Yes,
Yes.
or no? So if you are considering C to the B answer because PD is there. Same type of axial bonds are there in IF7 also, no?
So now all sp3d hybridization will come under this s orbital, 0 s orbital character.
No. What the question is saying that sp3d can be visualized as a combination of two hybridization. One of them will have 0s character,
Yes,
which is
sir.
the PD one.
Yes, sir. Now all the compounds having sp3 hybridization will be having 0 s orbital character conditions.
Yeah, the axial part will have 0s character.
Yes, yes.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yeah, that is what. Okay. So 23 is done. 22 is a doubt, right? So let us see 22. Okay, I have not done 22. That cannot happen. Okay, I have done it here only. Okay, let me do it separately. Now, U is directly proportional to Q1, Q2, and it is inversely proportional to R, magnitude-wise. Yes or no?
Yes.
U is the lattice energy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see, in first case, means LIF, Q1, Q2 is E square, yes or no? Plus E and minus E.
Yes, sir.
And in second case, when it is MgO,
Yes, sir.
it is what? 4E square
4
plus 2
Yes, sir.
minus 2. Magnitude will be 4 only,
Yes, sir.
product of magnitudes. Okay, so I guess U is directly proportional to Q1, Q2 and inversely proportional to R. So I can write, suppose I am saying that this is 1 and this is 2. Then I can write U2 by U1 is equal to sum of product of charges 4E square by E square into distance between them. Okay, so distance between them is 205, 201.
201 by 2. Yes, sir.
Huh? Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So 805 by 204, 804 by 205, that will be, now U1 is given to be like 1023. So from this you can find out U2, it will come something close to 4012. So the answer will be option C, if we do the calculations properly. Are you
Yes, sir.
getting a
Yes,
point?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So 10 up to 23 is done. Now multi-correct, which I will attempt at the last, because by that time I have done all the good, easy questions. Now 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay. So let us start with 24. Doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is very good. Okay, you see in 24, I can write it as like this, dissociation, all four, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Sir.
any reagent or any condition which removes the ions will increase the solubility,
Sir.
yes or no?
Sir.
So 170.
If I increase H plus concentration, then sulfide ion will be removed as H2S, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So pH is 4, means my medium is acidic, strongly acidic, not strongly but moderately acidic. So sulfide ion will be reacting with the H plus to give H2S. So what will happen? The reaction will go in which direction?
Forward direction.
Forward direction. Similarly here carbonate ion, it reacts with H plus to give H2CO3. So CO3 2 minus is getting removed. So the reaction will go in, or equilibrium will go in forward direction. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, Cn minus. If you are adding H plus, Cn minus will give HCl. Again, Cn minus is getting removed. It will go in forward direction.
Sir.
Yeah. In all these cases, yeah.
All the compounds will be possible, no, sir, if they give any compound.
Means?
Like
Any
any compounds, anion will be reacting with H plus and it will be removed and it will be forward. No, sir.
No. Suppose I am taking AgCl. Ag plus plus Cl minus. Now, even if you are adding H plus, will it give HCl? Tell me.
No.
Because it is a strong acid, it won't be formed. But weak acids will be formed. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
So can we say that all salts containing weak acid will
All salts containing anion of weak acid in
Anion.
acidic medium will have increased solubility. Getting a point?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
it will
sir.
react with H plus and give that weak acid, which will not dissociate that much. Are you getting a point?
Yes.
Or you can also visualize it in another way. Okay. Suppose I am having AgCl and it is dissociating to give Ag plus plus Cn minus. And Cn minus is undergoing hydrolysis to give HCN plus OH minus. Now, if you are making the medium acidic, means you are decreasing the concentration here. Yes or no? So
Yes,
you are decreasing the concentration here. So here also concentration will be decreasing. This will be moving in forward direction. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can understand it in any way as you want to. Last case, MgOH whole twice will give Mg2 plus and 2OH minus. If you are making the solution acidic, or by then you are basically removing OH minus, so it will go in forward direction. Getting a point? You have to just apply the Lee-Chatelier principle on ions. Everyone is clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 25. Is a doubt? Definitely. Yes.
Why is
20.
option A wrong, sir?
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay. 25. Option A, oxalic acid versus NaOH. Okay. Now you see, oxalic acid is a dibasic acid. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
So it will have two endpoints. One will be here, one will be here. It is starting with something like this. You will get the first endpoint, then it will go like this. You will get the second endpoint. Getting a point?
Then option A should be correct.
Option is correct only, no, sir.
How is it correct? oxalic acid versus NaH. Okay. Oh, this one. Okay, let me just discuss. Okay, this you are getting now that this is oxalic acid versus volume of NaH.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what is the difference between these two graphs? You see, this is endpoint 1 and this is endpoint 2. So if this is like 10 ml, this has to be 20 ml. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Because you will require equal volume to reach the second endpoint also. Are you
Yes,
getting?
sir.
Yes, sir.
You see here, it is not equal. This and this. Are you getting my point? So this graph is not possible for a polybasic acid. Then this graph is possible because these two are equal. Are you getting my point? Similarly, this is also not possible because endpoints will consume equal amount of volume. Whatever is the volume required for first endpoint, from first to second also equal volume is required. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And last, yes, is it clear? There's a lot of background noise. Now everyone is clear with this? Okay. These two graphs, why B and E won't work, this you are clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now let us look into the options. B cannot be an option, so A is not correct. Okay. Now Na2CO3 versus H here. So you see, when CO32 minus you are adding H plus. First it will give SCO3 minus and then it will give H2CO3. Now you see here the pH will be something highly alkaline and here it will be slightly highly acidic. Not means moderately acidic. 5 to 6. Are you getting your point?
Yes.
Okay. So you see the graph will start at a higher point and then it will keep on decreasing because you are adding H plus. Are you getting your point?
Yes.
And you'll be getting two endpoints. So this is endpoint 1, this is endpoint 2. And you see the volume which is used are equal. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So B is C. Okay. Option C, NaCN versus HCl. This is simple. Cn minus will be making the medium basic. So it will start with a, higher pH. And then it will be going like this. It will be only one endpoint. And at neutralization, after neutralization, the medium will be slightly acidic. Are you getting my point?
Sir, so all dibasic acids or anything, they'll take equal volumes. And
Yeah, if here to here X ml are used, then here to here also X ml will be used. Because you are maintaining same concentration of NaOH now.
yeah, okay, sir.
Now, last one is acetic acid versus NaOH. Then it will be something like D. It will start with a pH less than 7, and at neutralization, you will have alkaline pH due to hydrolysis. It will increase when you are adding NaOH. Are you clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So B and D are incorrect graphs. They won't represent any situation. 26 is a doubt.
No, sir.
$27.
Explain.
Explain, sir.
Okay. Now in 27, you see it is given that X is having one proton less than Y. Means if X is having atomic number of K, okay, then Y will be having atomic number of K plus 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Z is having one more proton than Y. This means Z
K plus 2.
will be k plus 2. Okay. So from these two, I have get x and z are not deflected in magnetic field. Okay. X and z are not deflected in magnetic field. Okay. And
Sir?
y, yeah.
That means what we should conclude about that point, sir. Do not deflect means.
Actually, you can't conclude any point from this. X and Z both, if they are atoms, they are uncharged particles. They won't be deflected by. See, in that case, even if Y is an atom, it won't be deflected by magnetic field. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Unpaired electron. No, sir.
See, if it is unpaired electron, then it will be deflected. No. It is
Then
not
we
that.
can consider no unpaired electrons.
Actually,
Even if there are no unpaired electrons, it's some weakly attracted or something is there, no, sir.
let me check the others. Okay. You see, it is giving that ionization energy of X is like 2.08 and the ionization energy of Z is 0.74, i.e. 1. This means that it is having a lower ionization energy. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If it is having lower ionization energy, i.e. 1, this means that for Z, Z plus 1 is a stable ion. Z plus, like sodium is having low ionization energy because sodium plus is stable. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you see,
Yes, sir.
Z is a okay. Now, you see, van der Waals radius of X is 154 and that of Z is 170. Okay. This means that
This is defined only for noble gas systems.
no, van der Waals radius can be defined for any gas, but generally when we're considering size of noble gases, size we defined by van der Waals because noble gases won't form covalent compounds in most of the cases. So you cannot define the covalent radius. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Van der Waals radius you can define for anyone, but covalent radius you can only define when you are having a covalent compound. Now it is giving that when you are talking about size, Z is greater than X. Okay, and that's it. So if Z is greater than X in size and Z plus 1 is stable, means Z has to be a group 1 element. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Y will be group 18. Yes or no?
Yes,
And
sir.
X will be group 17. Okay. Now,
Sir, Y will be group 2. No, sir.
oh yeah, Y will be group 2 only. Yeah, why will Y be group 2?
So group 18 on this.
Group 18, no? Y is having one more, Z is having one more proton than Y. It has to be the next element. Okay. Now you see among X, Y, and Z, Y is the more electronegative element. It is asking X, Y, Z. Are they asking for the true or the false? Among X, Y, and Z, have they given anything about what they're asking?
No,
The
sir.
atoms
No.
experience.
Oh, sir.
That is a difficult thing. Okay. So alkali metal Y is more reactive. 1 minute. X, Y, and Z. How have they done this? X is having one proton less than Y. So, 1 minute. X is K and X is having one proton less than Y. Then X is Y is K plus 1. And Z will be K plus 2. So that is having one more proton. So based on light IE, X can be this
Sir.
and Z can be this. Yes. Okay, they are not. This lower ionization
How
is
did you say
for
Z
group
plus
2
is
also.
more stable?
Yeah.
How could you say how did you say Z plus is more stable?
So
No, this is difficult to say because you see, one is you can say that compared to this, the Z plus will be more stable than X plus. Are you getting the point?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about van der Waals radius, then 150 Z is like 170 and X is like 154. This means that Z has to be on another period. Okay. So based on that, if you see, then this has to be like group 18.
Sir,
Yeah.
ionization energy 1 of X is 2.08, which is greater than Z, no, sir.
So ionization energy of X is 2.08. Means it is difficult to remove an electron now.
X is stable than Z, no, sir.
X is stable, so X plus is less stable than Z plus, no?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. So X plus won't form, but Z plus will form easily. This means Z plus has to be, Z has to be what? It has to be a metal. And this has to be a non-metal. Or, you know, something like noble gases will be also coming under, you know, like non-metallic things only.
Sir,
So, yeah.
so if X belongs to group 18, then it should have more van der Waals radius. No, sir.
No, you see, once you go from to the next block, then the radius will increase, no? Because new shell is getting added.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, can metals have van der Waals radius?
Yes. Anything can have van der Waals radius, but covalent radius is only defined when the compounds are having covalent bond. Are you getting a point?
Sir,
Yeah.
that means we can compare like noble gas size with some other one. I mean
Yeah, we can compare.
radius.
Yes, yes.
Then in one of the question of the previous exam, you said that they gave some Ne and some other compound.
They
They
are
asked
asking
about van
covalent
der
radius. They are asking covalent radius.
That means noble gas cannot have covalent radius.
They won't form covalent compounds. No, how will you talk about covalent radius then?
Okay.
Okay. So based on this, Z has to be a metal and X has to be a non-metal. So most probably it is an inert gas compound. Okay, which is not very clear because nothing is given about this. Now they are not deflected in magnetic field, means that yeah, they are talking about paramagnetism and diamagnetism. So this means that this is dia, this is also dia. So this has to be paramagnetic. If it is group 18, then it has to be group 1 and this has to be group 2. Because here only this type of transition will take place. Are you getting my point?
So diamagnetic and paramagnetic.
Unpaired and paired electrons. Are you
Sir,
getting my
where
point?
we get this concept?
Huh?
In which subtopic we get this concepts?
We
Atomic.
discussed atomic structure, configuration of ions.
Oh,
I
yes.
told you that if a species contain unpaired electron, it will be paramagnetic,
Yes.
and it will show color also.
In MOT also we get this.
MOT also will get, well, it is a repetitive concept. Wherever you have unpaired electrons, you can have color if the transition is resulting in absorption of light in visible range. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So most of the compounds of Z will be colorless because Z is diamagnetic. Okay. And it will be given Z2 plus actually. So Z2 plus is diamagnetic. Okay. And compounds of Z are more covalent than compounds of Y. That is correct because the charge is more. So polarizing power is more. Okay. X, Y, and Z cannot react with each other. That is an important clue. Okay. You see, in either three metals will not react with each other, or if there is one non-metal, then that non-metal has to be a noble gas. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, non-metals and metals, we know that Z is definitely a metal. So X has to be a non-metal, and X is having high ionization energy, but it has to be a non-metal. That non-metal has to be a noble gas only. Only through that you can arrive at that conclusion. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Y is more reactive because Y is, group 1 metal, and group 1 metals are more reactive than group 2 metals because they have only one electron to lose and they have lower ionization energy. Are you getting my point? So based on this, A, B, C, D will be the correct answers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
After this, 28.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, here paramagnetic and diamagnetic, the properties, can you tell like which one is attracted by the
See,
magnetic field?
paramagnetic species are weakly attracted towards external magnetic field, and diamagnetic species are weakly repelled in external magnetic field. So weakly repelled means they are considered to be that, they won't
Deflection.
be deflected at all. Okay. It
Okay,
is
sir.
considered to be like that. Okay. 28.
Explain.
Smallest metal in period 3 is aluminium. As you go from left to right, the size of atoms will decrease. And after aluminium, you have silicon, which is a metalloid. And before that, you have magnesium, which is a metal. And before that, you have sodium, which is again a metal. So aluminium is the smallest metal. After that, there is no metal in period 3. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, B. As you go down the group, ionization energy will increase. So carbon will have the highest ionization energy in group 4.
Sir, option D you explain.
Option D. You see, in group 15, you have only two metalloids, arsenic and antimony. So it will form As2O3 and Sb2O3, which is more acidic. Acidic nature will decrease down the group. You have to only compare between these two only. Are you getting a point?
But we consider it as amphoteric, no, sir.
It is saying most acidic. Between these two we are comparing, not with respect to water. Are you getting my point?
So then can we say that they are amphoteric with predominant acidic nature?
No. This means that if you put this in water, you will get more H plus ions compared to this. Are you getting my point?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Amphoteric means it can react with acid as well as base. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So 28 is done. 29,
No, sir.
30.
Explain.
30 is
Explain, sir.
something which I would like to explain in,
Sir, could you
resonance.
explain only
But
option C?
huh?
Could you explain only option C?
It should be a set of three resonance structure has to account for the equivalence of bonds. Are you getting a point? The 3 is missing there.
Then will that be the answer, sir?
Yeah, that will, if you include 3, then it will be answer. If you don't include 3, then it won't be answer. So this I will recommend for key change.
B and D, sir?
B and A are, it is each resonance structure possesses 2 localized N double bond of bond. First of all, there is only one N double bond of bond. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And these are the structures. Okay, I will discuss it again in tomorrow.
Now
Okay,
is
so
the
it is
answer
having,
B and D, sir?
it is having one delocalized N double bond O. Because you see, this is moving. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so A is not correct. B. Nitrogen carries formal charge in all 3 structures. That is correct. Okay. And you need a set of 3 resonance structure to account for equivalence bond. You see, all these 3 structures can be written for NO3 minus, but the option structure will be something like this. It will have partial double bond character. It will be like 2 by 3 minus, 2 by 3 minus, 2 by 3 minus, and it will be plus 1. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
So partial double bond character means
This we'll discuss tomorrow.
sir, is the same like benzene?
Yeah, it is same like benzene.
Oh, okay, sir.
In some structures you have double bond, in another structure you have single bond, like between these 2.
Yes.
So you will say that this is a partial double bond here.
So how do you say that delocalized and double bond or something?
See, between these 2 atoms, in this structure you have a double bond, you have single. So if I talk the average number of bonds between nitrogen and oxygen, it will be 4 by 3. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if it is greater than 1, this means there is a partial double bond character. Yes or no? If it is a full double bond character, bond order will be 2. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
And nitrogen always octet rule in each resonance structure, that is correct. Okay.
31st one, could you explain C and D options?
Yeah, it is easy. You see, write the distances. It is A. This distance is root 2A,
root 2.
and this distance is also root 2A.
C and D, sir?
Okay. So see, magnitude of 1-2 interaction and 1-3 interaction. 1-2 is what? 1-2 and 1-3. So 1-2 is basically cation anion interaction, and 1-3 is anion interaction. So if cation anion interactions are more than anion interactions, then the solid lattice will be stable. Yes or no? For anything to come together, the attractive forces should be more than the repulsive forces. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Otherwise, things will fall apart. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
You and your roommate cannot live together if you hate each other more than you love each other. Are you getting my point? Or means you like each other more than you dislike each other. Okay. Obviously, in some cases you like her choices. In some cases, you won't like her choices. Okay, but overall, you two will be staying in the same room only when your choices match more often than they don't match. Are you getting the point? So a lattice of ions will stay together only when the interactions which are attractive are dominating over interactions which are repulsive. So attractive interactions are cation-anion interactions, and repulsive interactions are anion-anion. So you see, it is attracting all the cations in the lattice at the same time, and it is repelling all the anions at the same time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Writing the equations would be very complicated even from physics point of view, so we don't write it. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So explain option A and B also.
Option A and B. Now you see, option A and B are like similar type of interaction. 1, 3, and they are asking to compare the magnitude. The magnitude is K Q1 Q2 by R. Q1 Q2 will be same because magnitudes of ions are same.
Yes, sir.
So U is inversely proportional to R. If distance is more, magnitude is less, and if distance is less, magnitude is more.
Yes, sir.
So 1, 3 interaction is between 1 and 3. So 1, 3 interaction, the distance is how much?
2A.
And 1, 5 and 3, 5. 1, 5 is these two, and 3, 5 is these two. The distance is how much?
Root 2A.
So this will have higher magnitude.
Yes, sir.
So the A is correct.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Similarly, B.
Yes, sir.
D. Total attractive and repulsive attraction should be equal in magnitude. That is incorrect. Attraction should be more than repulsion. Are you getting a point?
So greater than or equal to both will give
Equal to, why will ion be with each other? If they don't like each other, means it's like they like and don't like at the same time. So you see, generally, if you like and don't like at the same time, you don't have a reason to stay together. Are you getting my point? Only when there is a net attraction, then only the ions will stay together. Are you getting my point? Like you see, the noble gases, they don't have a reason to like each other. So they stay independent of each other. Are you getting my point? But hydrogen atoms, they have a reason to like each other. Yes or no?
So noble gases don't like and don't repel also.
Yeah, they don't like and they don't hate each other as such.
But
So
here-
they are apart from each other. Are you getting a point? But if you try to force noble gases to come together, then the potential energy of the system will increase. It will become positive. I think I told you people now for He2, the graph will go something like this.
Yes.
If you are decreasing the internuclear distance.
potential energy increases.
Yeah, so that is why. So always remember that for two things, okay, or two atoms or two ions to be together, okay, there should be net attraction, okay, the net repulsion. And that is true for all type of, association. That the net attractive force should be more than net repulsive force. Always, whenever you are having a group of things, there will be some factors which will be binding that group together, and some things which are, making it fall apart. So till the binding forces are more than the repulsive forces, it will survive. Are you getting my point? This is a very, intuitive thing. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this, the paper discussion is officially over, and it is
Sir?
also. Yes.
So once could you explain 22nd one?
22nd, 1 minute. Yeah.
Not 22nd, sir. 20.
Huh?
2020.
Yeah, you see, sulfide ion concentration, which option do you want me to explain?
So all.
See, sulfide, if copper sulfide and MnS both are precipitate, okay, but copper sulfide is a low KSP, has lower KSP value, while MnS is having a very high KSP value. Okay, it is like 10 power minus 50, something like that, and this is like 10 power minus 20. Okay, so which one will precipitate at lower sulfide ion concentration? Cu2 plus? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It will precipitate at 10 power minus 47, S2 minus concentration. This will precipitate at 10 power minus 17 as per the given values. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So you see, sulfide ion concentration is, when is sulfide ion concentration more? Less. In acidic medium, then if the sulfide ion concentration is low, Mn2 plus won't precipitate. Only copper 2 plus will precipitate. Are you getting a point?
So how did you get the 10 power minus 15, 10 power minus?
These are the values, range of values in which the KSP actually lies. This is something like a fact-based thing. You have to know. We'll be discussing these things in details in salt analysis. Are you getting a point?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So right now you have to just know that low KSP sulfides will be precipitated in acidic medium. Higher KSP sulfides will be precipitated in basic medium. Okay. That's it.
Sir, so
Principle is,
that,
yeah.
sir, so that acidic medium, low KSP, and then basic medium, high KSP, that we just have to remember.
Yeah. Lower KSP sulfides will precipitate in acidic medium. Higher KSP sulfides will be precipitated in basic medium. If you are first doing acidic and then basic. If you are directly doing basic, both will precipitate at the same time.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. So that is it. So I think with this, everyone is clear about stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this, the paper discussion is officially done. I'm stopping the recording.